All right, welcome to Behind the Scenes. In studio today, we have Linda from Sweet Memories. Linda, thank you for coming down here.
Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. So why don't we tell our audience a little bit about you, where you came from? Give us the sort of your origin story.
Okay, well, I'm originally from New Jersey. I moved out here in 1997. I did direct marketing, advertising, and sales for 25 years. In addition to that, I opened a screen printing company in Girard in 2008. So I've owned my own business since I've been 24. I've actually only had two jobs my whole life, one retail, and then I worked at UPS loading trucks, and then went into business for myself.
Okay, so you've been doing the business thing for quite a while. What led you? Did you kind of know that you were going to be an entrepreneur?
Well, I watched my dad work for Xerox for 35 years and get forced into an early retirement, and I never wanted to work for corporate America.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's sad how people devote like a lot of their lives to a company, and then one day someone just wakes up in the morning and divorces his wife, and then they let go everybody in the company, So I just always knew that if you can't rely on yourself, who are you going to rely on?
Yeah, I read a statistic the other day. 93% of people who became entrepreneurs, open a small business, never go back to working for someone ever again. That was...
Well, and statistically, 3% of the world's population employ 97% of the people on the planet.
Crazy?
It is, and there's that 10% that want to achieve that entrepreneurship, and then there's the 60% that just want to, live paycheck to paycheck, no responsibility, and then there's 27% of the people that don't work, and it may have changed a lot, through the years, but when you really look at people that give opportunities to people through jobs and ideas and inventions and creations, there's a very small percentage of people that take that risk.
Yep. And give us how you came up with the concept for Sweet Memories.
Well, it actually, fell in my lap. My husband is from Philadelphia, South Philly, and, me being from Jersey, we love history. And, one day he was like, "Oh, did you know that Good Humor ice cream was from Youngstown?" I said, "I didn't have a clue." I would expect to see like some big ice cream statue downtown Youngstown because it is such a national brand, And as I did some more research, I realized that, they invented ice cream on a stick, and America's first ice cream truck came from Youngstown. So I reached out to Unilever, who owns the licensing for Good Humor, and I asked them, who's designing your novelty T-shirt line for your 100-year anniversary in Youngstown. And, they were like, we never had an official, licensing agreement apparel line. And I was like, I'll do it, women-owned business.
Nice.
So they gave me a 1-year contract to design and print for their 100-year anniversary, which is in 2020. So I was really excited about it. And, we started planning, designs and, where are we going to set up Canfield Fair and different things because it was a 1-year contract. And I was like, well, I need to create a marketing social enterprise that impacts the community, not just to give back to the community, but let people know the history. Coming from outside the area, if you're outside the area, you don't always hear the best things about Youngstown. And, I thought it was really important to share the wonderful things and all the inventors and everything that happened here. So I was thinking ice cream kids go together, and I reached out to Akron's Children's Hospital because they saved my daughter's life when she was young. And I told them about the opportunity to create for Good Humor for their 100-year anniversary, and then I wanted to donate $5 off every shirt to Akron's Children's NICU babies.
Nice.
So we launched our apparel line, which was just Good Humor at the time, February of 2020. So it's actually 4 years ago this past weekend at the hospital. And I had the Historical Society there with me promoting the museum. A lot of people don't know there's a Good Humor museum downtown and, all those things. And Good Humor loved what we were doing so much. They sent us, 500 ice cream bars to the hospital to give to the staff and everything. And then COVID happened. And then, they had reached out in April and said, hey, we really love, what you've created and the give back. And, do you have the time to design for Popsicle? And they're from Oakland, California, invented by an 11-year-old. And I was like, at that time we were shut down because, we were unessential. And I was like, absolutely. And then as we started to design for Popsicle, they're like, oh, you're working with Dum Dums. And I'm like, no, why? And they're like, well, they're from Akron. I'm like, I didn't know that. And they're like, well, let's get you connected with Spangler Candy Company. And then Spangler Candy Company had just bought Necco and Sweethearts out of bankruptcy. And then my licensing agent was like, oh, I know the girls at Smarties and Pez. Let me get you connected. And then I called Tootsie, And I was like, hey, we're working with these brands, and they're like, oh, we're in, let's do it, So all of 2021 was all licensing agreements, designing, and, what I thought was just going to be a 1-year campaign ended up turning into, a whole T-shirt line. And then the interesting part was in 21, these brands were like, what are your sales projections? I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that, because I'm just setting up at Canfield Fair and selling a Daffin's candy and Giant Eagle and like these, small businesses. And so then I started wholesaling my shirts to candy stores all over the United States. So there's a store called It's Sugar that was in Times Square, New York, that carried some of my shirts, in the American Dream Mall. And going to all these stores, I was like, wow, these are really awesome stores. And, looking at our community here, we didn't have anything fun, that was at that impact of all the candy. So then I started building relationships with candy stores, saying, oh, if you buy some of your candy, you carry my shirts, and built a network and resources of candy stores to help me navigate, how to effectively run a candy store. And then as we started to transition and hearing people come in the store and all their fond memories of everything they did growing up, it was just a normal transition to transition into the toys, which we just opened up in November.
This episode was brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's technology company. We appreciate the loyalty and all you have shown us over the years, and it's our promise to serve all the technology needs of the Valley. Call 330-259-7278. We have both home and business services available. Everything from repair, installations, and new equipment. You can improve your Wi-Fi and have technology serve you better. Call 330-259-7278. Or you can schedule your appointment right now on youngstowncomputer.com and look for the red Book Now button.
All right, let's get into our video here. And if you see something of note, you can explain what we're looking at. Don't feel obligated to talk about everything, but
yeah, don't mind the sign. The winter tore us up. So we bought the building in 2022. Our screen printing company is in the back of the building. We've printed for so many licensing agreements, and we've expanded our licensing agreement to Just Born, Peeps, Mike and Ike, Airheads. I just got licensing for Slim Jim, Jiffy Pop. There's a bunch new that are going to be coming out. Mentos. We're going to be making those shirts. Ring Pop. So we also have weird things. There's chocolate-covered bugs and really hot stuff. And, I don't know how people eat those things, but they're really super popular. All the TikTok trends.
I love ghost pepper, so yeah, I would be all about that.
We have Cockeye Creamery ice cream and Isley's Pints as well. We've got over 168 different flavors of vintage soda, which is the pure sugarcane soda. The Japanese sodas we sell a ton of. And then we also private labeled with Idora Park Experience and Idora Park Soda Line, which you'll see as you pan to the left. Those are energy drinks, all weird and wonky. There's so many different pops out there, but you see right there is the Idora Park. So we took the graphics from Jim and Tony Amy's collection and, put them on a bottle, and a percentage of each soda that we sell of the Idora Park goes back to the Idora Park Experience. So we strategically laid out the store. It is a very sensory overload. There's so much going on, but we rotate our inventory constantly. But all the fixtures that I got in the store, we actually picked. So from like Facebook Marketplace, those are lab tables from Liberty High School.
Nice.
Yeah.
Repurposed. Love it.
Everything's repurposed. So there's that's our Valentine's Day selection, which half of it is gone now from the holiday weekend. Those little purple lollipops, those lifesavers, they only come out around in spring, and the most popular flavor is the blueberry cream, by the way. So lots of stuff that, I try to bring in stuff that you just can't find at all the stores. Right. It's different and unique. We're super excited about the Eclipse, so we sell the Eclipse sunglasses. And that Isley section over there is really awesome. A lot of people don't know that Klondikes were made in Youngstown. They were made on the 5th floor of the U-Haul building, which was the old Isley's plant. So we have a T-shirt dedicated to the building there. When we launched our grand opening, someone from corporate Isley's came up to our store and were giving out coffee samples because they rebranded their Boulevard coffee. So, and I wanted to make it museum-esque where, when people come in, they can read about the history of, Isley's and Klondike and Good Humor. Breyers is from Philadelphia and Bosco's from New Jersey. So, I love learning when I get licensed for all these brands, learning about the history of how they started. And I just learned that Chef Boyardee is from Cleveland, actually Milton, Pennsylvania, but the owner's buried in Cleveland. So we're going to be having some Chef Boyardee shirts coming out in the pipeline. That Chip Chop Ham is probably our number one selling shirt there. And then, Klondike was not sold outside of Ohio and Pennsylvania until after 1980 when Isley sold the rights to Unilever. Smarties is a New Jersey company ran by women, and they use a lot of solar power in their manufacturing plants, which is really good for the environment. Popsicles from Oakland, California. Bitto Honey is an Ohio brand. Spangler Candy Company owns them. Sweethearts is now an Ohio brand. And actually, Spangler Candy Company just opened up Spangler World in Bryan, Ohio. So if anyone wants to do a little road trip, they're open 6 days a week. And you can go and see movies about how all the candy's made. And they have a history wall. Yeah, we sell a lot of licorice. There's a lot of stores don't have licorice. So the Getz, the caramel creams there, we just got licensed to do their line. They're in Baltimore. They're originally the Baltimore Chewing Gum Company, and now they make the caramel creams and the cowtails. And that's our Japanese import section. We sell a ton of weird Lay's chips that, everything from squid to, I don't even know. And that's a lot of our imports from England and Canada. And then we have a little Italian section there. Great for gift baskets. A lot of people come in and they grab those and, do up some gift baskets. Actually, that popcorn is a company called Big Dipper, manufactured in Youngstown. And the crazy thing is I met the owners of them in Chicago at the trade show. And I was like, oh, you're from Youngstown. They're like, yeah, we know who you are. You're up on the hill. You just opened a store. And I'm like, yeah, I'll sell your popcorn. But they don't advertise locally, but it's really great popcorn. Necco is it's my favorite candy. I like the pink ones. And all of our shirts we sell, this is really just a glorified showroom for me. We sell on Amazon, on Walmart, on Shopify, and we wholesale all over the United States. I just shipped 600 shirts down to Hattiesburg, Mississippi. They have a really cool vintage, I don't even know what you call it, but it's an amazing warehouse they turned into this destination place down there. People always come in and they want their Pop Rocks. Pop Rocks and candy cigarettes are probably the most popular.
Really? Still?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a myth that Pop Rocks instead of explode your stomach. That's not true. So we do have a huge Pez collection as they go around. Mike and Ike is the newest release of shirts that we've had. So they are in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So it's another local. I consider PA local. For us. And then we got licensed with the military, so a percentage of each shirt goes back to the U.S. Morale Program for soldiers that have PTSD. So we have Air Force, Space Force, Navy. Got our Tootsie there. The Mr. Owl shirt is probably our number one selling shirt online. And
the lockers.
Yeah,
love it.
Going back to where we have the military shirts on that display, I bought that on Facebook Marketplace. It was an old post office box from the Rittman, the Morton Salt Foundry in Rittman, Ohio. I didn't even know there was a Morton Salt Foundry there. Jelly Belly is a huge seller. We stock almost every Jelly Belly that they have, flavor-wise. The buttered popcorn is the most popular one.
Your merchandising skills are on point. Like, this is a beautiful way to display things.
Well, I started working in retail when I was 13, and I worked at the one place for 10 years in New Jersey. It was kind of like the Grove City outlets in Jersey. So I had a really good mentor there that in life, he was a baseball player. I think he's in the one of the Baseball Hall of Fames. His name was Hank, and every couple of years he would rebrand his store with different merchandise, And I asked him, and he would send me to the flea markets to liquidate it. So I was like 17 selling like, stuff at the flea markets. And I asked him one day, I was like, Hank, do you make any money? Because you keep rebranding, constantly. And, you keep changing the name to rebrand your new products. And he goes, I make enough money to get by. And he goes, I'd rather make enough money to get by and have the freedom to do what I want, when I want, and pay my own bills than work for somebody else and just make enough to get by. And they call the shots, and I can't go golfing when I want to,
Right.
That picture there is really interesting. My parents used to donate money to Mother Teresa's Foundation in 1987, and she actually kept the envelope that Mother Teresa wrote back, actually. And it says, keep this because Mother Teresa is going to be a saint one day. And I always find that, having things in your pocket's nice, but it's signed from Mother Teresa. So who now she's a saint. Yeah. So that's her signature right on here. Look at that. So such a relic, but yeah. And it came during Easter time from 1987. So, my parents have been a really great inspiration in my life to always give back to, people that need help, and be conscious of other people around you, and, do everything with a pure heart.
What a keepsake that is.
Yep. Keep it in my purse.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So, but I made a poster of that so people could see that when they come in. Off topic here. I know we're talking about candy, but all of the saint shirts that we have in there, we donate $5 off each shirt to the Franciscan friars on the shrine, the Hungarian shrine on Bella Vista over there. Double Bubble originated in Philadelphia, so it was Fleer, so that's another close brand. Big League Chew. And the Vintage Gums, this is the first ever apparel line that they've ever had. So we just got that licensing agreement in, I think it was August of last year. So Blackjack was the first flavored gum in America. Wow. Yeah, we had our little party going on. We had over 600 people through our doors over the weekend, and we had a chocolate charcuterie. We were giving away all that cookie dough, and then we ran out of cookie dough, and then we started giving away other stuff. And we went through 10 sheets of cake over the weekend. So we bought out Giant Eagle and Walmart on cake just as a customer appreciation, because without the customer supporting us, we wouldn't have made it through the year at our retail space, and we're able to raise, almost $47,000 for the NICU clinic since COVID. Yeah. 22,000 of it was just last year. So it just doubling every year. Got a great team of girls. We're all passionate about the same things. And
this episode was brought to you by Youngstown Computer, the Valley's technology company. We appreciate the loyalty and all you have shown us over the years, and it's our promise to serve all the technology needs of the Valley. Call 330-259-7278. We have both home and business services available. Everything from repair, installations, and new equipment. You can improve your Wi-Fi and have technology serve you better. Call 330-259-7278, or you can schedule your appointment right now on youngstowncomputer.com and look for the red Book Now button.
And that's a soldier from Idora Park.
Oh, sweet.
From Kittyland. Yep. So Jim and Tony Amy put that in. I had so much fun shopping for the action figures. So we started carrying a lot from a brand called Super 7, where their motto is we didn't like the toys they were selling, so we made our own. And so there's some, punk rock action figures of, even Devo and, the Clash. And
I saw the Wonka bars there. Should go right along with the new movie.
Well, they're not Wonka bars because they don't make the Wonka chocolate bars anymore, but they are Wonka action figures.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so, which were probably non-existent before they made them. So, but they don't have Charlie yet, which is weird. Yeah. Save the other people. We sell a lot of Gumbies. So, and Stretch Armstrong we're sold out of currently. So I don't even know how many Stretch Armstrongs we sold, but, and then we had those, they're called Soapies. They're on the second shelf. They're little figures, and we got wiped out on those too. We don't carry the standard Funko Pops. We carry the unique ones, the rewind and throwback ones. Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I bet you when you come through there, you get nostalgia, like just
Oh yeah.
rushes over you.
Yeah, this past weekend, like we had at least 25, 30 people that spent 2 hours in our store because they said I feel like I'm in a museum, and they're going around and like, talking about everything they had and they were growing up, and it's just such a fun place. Our biggest challenge is keeping up with the inventory and supply. There's stuff that with this, we had Snoopy snow cone machines and I ordered them in September and they didn't come until January, so, but then the second order, they came within 3 days, which was great. We did bring in a lot of STEM games, stuff that you don't normally find in other, Walmart. If you look up toy stores near me on Google, you get Walmart and Target. The Toys R Us experiences, and the KB toys are gone. So we tried to create something that was going to be more experiential for people.
Yeah.
I got that rocket ship on Facebook Marketplace.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was a church had it, and they used it for summer camp. It was in Hermitage, and the pastor became the pastronaut. Lava lamps. Just bring you back. The Fisher Price stuff we flew through, and then that's our Idora Park line.
What is the square footage of the store? This seems like it's immense.
5,000 square foot.
No way.
And the building that I own is 25,000 square foot, so there is definitely room to grow.
Yeah.
My goal this year is just to acclimate with.
It's Porky. No way.
Yeah. Yep. So I actually met Jim and Tony Amy at the Canfield Fair. I had a lot of people asking me why I don't have Idora Park shirts because I had everything else. And I said, well, because it's not licensed and everyone can just print them. And they said, no, Jim and Tony Amy are the only people. They're registered with the state that they have the licensing and the rights for the Idora Park stuff. So, but I met with them and they were really excited to create something that they can create funds from because they have selflessly went around and collected all the artifacts all over the United States and, put the time and energy and labor to fix things up. And, for all the other, pirate Idora stuff out there, they never received any funds. And they're the ones that are going to be, they're working on creating a museum. So, but they've done it all themselves, which is really phenomenal. The passion that they have for, saving those artifacts that everybody has so much memories of. If it wasn't for them, half the stuff would be in a junk pile.
Yep.
Lots of puzzles. We sell a ton of puzzles. And, I got, when I was picking out, I decided in August that I was going to open a toy store, and I did my research, and I found the top 10 most popular toys per decade going back to 1940. I put it in a Google spreadsheet, and I went to the toy show in New York with my list, and I said, what do you have that you can sell me? And if you don't have it, do you know who does? And Legos are classic. And to get, approved to sell Legos, like I did, like they wanted like financials, like the pictures of my building where I live, it was like a big ordeal, but like we got approved to sell Legos, which is cool. And we definitely sold. We have more adults that come and get Legos for themselves and for their kids, which is really interesting. Yeah. So we sold out of Rock'em Sock'ems, our first weekend of our grand opening. And it was, we're still waiting for the stock to come in. So
is it harder to source those older things?
I have like 25 different vendors, and they all sell different things. So one vendor I can get my Etch-a-Sketch and my Rubik's Cube and some of the classics, and then the other vendor has the Slinkies and the Shrinky Dinks, and it's all different. So sourcing it is just a matter of finding the right distributor that has a supply, to bring things in. And, it was a challenge in New York because a lot of these toy manufacturers, they didn't want to talk to me because I'm, one little tiny location, one person.
How many million units are you going to order,
yeah,
right?
Right?
That kind of
thing.
thing.
Yeah, one guy was even like, you have to be prepared to spend at least $1,000. I'm like, I drop $10,000 a month on candy, like don't try and belittle me, like I'm not that person. But it was funny, So,
oh yeah.
But you got to be able to, definitely get your foot in the door and get to the base of where you can get some of these things, because it is a challenge, like the color forms and the spirographs and like those. my favorite was fashion plates growing up. And you can go to some stores and they'll see one or two things, but I don't know that anyone has the collection all in one place like we have been able to acquire. And what was interesting, there's one of my toy reps came up to see my store, and he was blown away. He was like taking pictures. He's like, your store is awesome. It's great. He's like, I got to show corporate about how cool your store is. And I'm like, how long have you been a toy rep? He's like, 20 years. He goes, but I've never seen a store like yours. And I was like, oh, I was like, oh, I was like, no, I'm a rookie. I've only been open for 2 months, but I'm an art major. So for me, putting it together where your eye can breathe and, focus, and, even when I send emails, I have every other sentence has a space because I think too much,
Aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So why don't you tell everybody if they wanted to come visit you and check you out on social media and whatever, give all your details.
So we're at 1282 Trumbull Avenue. The mailing is Girard, but technically we're Liberty, and across the street is Youngstown. So we're just like in this little bubble. But if you know where Jimmy's and Kravitz are in Belmont, which is everybody knows there, the light in between there is Trumbull Avenue. They're building a hospital actually right next door. So if you come down Trumbull, we're half a mile down the left-hand side, and we're open every day from 10 to 7.
10 to 7 every day.
And, one of the pet peeves that I had when I moved here from the East Coast is everything's closed on Sunday, and I'm like, oh, I want to go out and they're closed, So it's so funny when I tell people we're open every day, they're like, Sunday? I'm like, yep, every day, because we want to be able to have, a place where people can do things, because there really isn't a whole lot of interactive or, fun places to go on the weekends. A lot of people are closed on Sunday, so it's one of our popular days. But we are on Facebook, Sweet Memories, Vintage Teas and Candy. So we're better at our store than we are social media. But we have some really great followers that comment on everything, and they come in the store every other week, and they talk about what they remember, and they'll be like, oh, did you get the Red Hot Dollars in? I'm like, no, I'm not gonna, they're discontinued, so, and then we do carry Clark bars all the time, and we only sold out twice in a year. The first time it took me 2 days to restock. This last time it took a couple weeks, but we normally limit 2 per person, because people will come in and they'll buy like 24 or 48 at a time, but I just, stocked up on them, so, we're good. So.
All right. Well, Linda, thank you for coming in, talking with us, and telling your story and showing us your store.
Oh, well, thanks for having me. And, if you ever want to come up and check it out, just give me a call, make sure I'm there. I'm always traveling all over the place and show you myself.
All right. Beautiful.
Yeah.